In this episode, we will cover the 10 must-watch mecha anime for the modern mecha beginner. I had a chaotic time doing this because I cannot narrow this down into just one series. Leave me a comment if you want a part 2 of this, because you just cannot be satisfied with only 10 essential mecha series in your recommendation list, can you? Welcome back to Gundam Technology. Let's get into it. To clear out the first default mecha anime that comes on the top of the search bar, here is number 10, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Just because of its Netflix release's success, Neon Genesis Evangelion became a cult classic to a household name overnight. And I'm not just generalizing. This is because of several reasons. The first is because it is the most accessible at this point. To follow, besides Gundam, this show is an iconoclast. This is an anime that broke barriers and hearts. This proved to many that mecha is not just reduced to lasers, bullets, and clanking iron. But don't get me wrong, I am saying this as a Gundam fan. The main EVA series has a way better storyline than any Gundam series. The remake movies are also excellent. I would give an exception, however, to the last one on this list. I also appreciate the in-depth research that Hideaki Anno made from Abrahamic folklore and how he twisted it to make his mecha series. Japan's Bushido Code and the Abrahamic references, as well as the big robot, sci-fi, and dystopia dynamic are chaotically orchestrated but stellar. Okay, number 9's easy. Steam Detectives. Has anyone watched Detective Conan? Well, this one is steampunk version of Detective Conan. Or to be more specific, think Sherlock Holmes but with a steam-powered mecha and a maid sidekick. You know what they say, folks. Japan. The setting is in an industrial Victorian city called, well, Steam City. I appreciated watching this as a kid. Also, this anime's opening song is straight up fire. The band is killing it. The riffs are sharp and the rhythm is tight. Eddie Van Halen and Iron Maiden highly approve of that. Another fun fact from this is that this was shown before The Iron Giant was premiered in theaters. What do you know, eh? A Victorian mecha anime. The pretty maid sidekick is also weird as hell because she lives a double life. She disguises herself as a masked hero, sort of like the female version of Tuxedo Mask as Sailor Moon. Also, even the main villain looks just like Tuxedo Mask and has a maid sidekick like the lead character Narutaki. Expect more random stuff in the next ones. Number 8 is a no-brainer. Zoids. If you think mecha anime is all about flying and huge but at the same time agile humanoid robot pilots, well, this one will break those boundaries. Also, that's the appeal of Zoids. You're not supposed to operate as a humanoid robot. This mecha franchise is a breath of fresh air from the super ships and the significantly larger-than-life robots. This is an excellent callback to Mechagodzilla being operated by humans. It channels more on the kaiju side of things because the legendary Zoid mechas have a mind of their own and usually interact with their pilots. I am honestly hoping for this series to have a comeback. Hopefully, there's a new upcoming adaptation. It's been 2 years since Zoids Wild, and I must admit that I am unfamiliar, but the original series had me invested. Also, each Zoids gunpla has such unique designs. Trigun at number 7. I know that it seems like a bit of a stretch, but hear me out. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly of the mecha series. Also, there's that other iconic Western-themed anime which is not exactly mecha, but I am partially invested more in Trigun, just cause Vash the Stampede is a cyborg with a mechanically operated arm. He also has cyborgs and mutant mecha enemies going after him. It is the cyberpunk dollar series you never asked for, but here it is. Okay, for those who do not know, the Dollar series is a classic cult trilogy of Clint Eastwood's films. That's the iconic cowboy film of the golden era of Hollywood films. Just like Vash, Clint Eastwood's character has huge bounty money marked on his head. That's pretty much it. In comparison, the man with no name sleeps with a gun under his pillow. He is always vigilant. Vash does not care if people go after him because besides being a cyborg, he is not a violent person. This is hard to explain, but yeah, you should probably just go ahead and watch Trigun. Love and peace. I have a classic at number 6, Bubblegum Crisis. Also, kind of a deep cut, but I will open the gushingly sweaty and warm floodgates for you. Folks, in 3 words, I will describe this series as quote-unquote, cyberpunk Sailor Moon. There is a girl group Sentai in the future who wears Iron Man suits to save Tokyo. The best part of this is that when I watched this in the early 2000s in a rented VHS copy, I thought it was a new anime. This debuted in 1987. I hope the Cyberpunk 2077 hype could revive this anime series to a new audience. This is hugely underrated for me. It had a remake in 1999, which was good as well. Also, I would like to mention that this came pre-Akira, so they beat that movie for about a year in the booming cyberpunk genre. Another fun fact, the enemies on this series are called boomers. Yep, powerful women calling people boomers before it was even cool. That's right, Japan invented it. And you have officially heard it from me. Surprisingly, this series is very political and it touches on human philosophy usually too. I also appreciate that this is a Super Sentai tribute side of Mecha Anime with a cyberpunk trope. Dual Parallel Trouble Adventures. Yosuke Kuroda is the screenwriter of this Mecha Anime. He also notably wrote the screenplay for Gundam 00, Goblin Slayer, and Boku no Hero Academia, aka the best anime screenwriter of this decade next to Makoto Shinkai. Duel is a more story-driven mecha anime than a design-driven mecha anime. I say that because mecha is a plot device like the last one on this list. It leans more on parodying the comedic side of mecha anime. It is also dependent on the cast's characterization and their stories and portrayal. The best part of this is that it has a lot of mecha-related jokes in it. I think the last episode is a play on the end of Evangelion. Up next is a rarity, the Vision of Escaflowne. This one is an isekai mecha anime with a female protagonist. More of this later. There's one in the 80s that got featured in a super robot game. Still, I like the Vision of Escaflowne for mixing sci-fi, fantasy, and fantastic visual and pagan references. Like the others, this one has a catchy opening theme. I don't know about you, but if it has a catchy opening theme, regardless if the anime sucks, I will stick to it until the end. Also, there are tarot card readings for each episode's start, which correlates to the events in the attack. This is an excellent artistic direction since Hitomi is a beginner in tarot card reading and divination. Hitomi is transferred to a planet called Gaia, where she can view the Earth and the Moon from the sky. To her good fortune, she is guided and fought over by 2 handsome men as the story progresses. One in particular looks just like his high school crush. Well, God Lord Almighty, if you have a sapphic, goth, or a Wiccan friend, I suggest you let them watch this because they will definitely enjoy it. Getting the number 3 spot is Beat X. Okay, back to cyberpunk, but this time with Chinese folktale references. Beat X is a mecha anime that has mechanical animals as its centerpiece. Now, these mechanical animals are different from actual animals because they have superpowers. Hey, wait. Isn't this just like Saint Seiya but mecha? Now I kinda get it. Teppei Takamiya had the Kirin, just as Miyaka and Yui had the Suzaku and Seiryu on Fushigi Yugi, to cross-reference the Chinese mythology-themed anime. Also, Beat X is originally shonen anime just as Fushigi Yugi was shoujo. Number 2 on this list is Magic Knight Rayearth. Magic Knight Rayearth is hands down the best isekai mecha that there is unless this gets topped soon. You cannot have a wrong opinion if you think of the concept of Magic Knight Rayearth. First, they got teleported into a magical world. Then they were given magical weapons to fulfill their roles in that world. They also had magical mecha and are technically a magical girl group just like the Sailor Warriors. Now, if you had to ask which is my bias towards those magical girls, the answer is none. I love the goth couple, Zagato and Emerald, because Emerald turned into a villain and Zagato was a good guy all along. So who do you think made it to number 1? It's none other than Gundam Mobile Suit 8th MS Team. In 8th MS Team, Mecha is usually a plot device. Shiro Amada and his team's determination is what pushes the story. This Gundam series has a fantastic dynamic of highly charismatic characters. The weight of war is highlighted more than the brilliance of advanced technology. You have got to watch this. This is all that I can say about it. Also, this is my favorite mecha anime series of all time. Do you know who I want to get in a robot? You, silly. Well, I want you to get in that robot so bad. You want that, right? Well, I made a Quizlet for you on which mobile suit vehicle you will pilot in the Gundam series. Yep, that's the thing. Get in that robot and let me know your results in the comment section. Stay connected, stay up to date.